my name is André. I'm the engineering manager of the mobile team. Today I'm going to answer some spicy questions. What's the biggest myth non-technical people believe about developers? Bonus points if it involves hoodies or caffeine dependency. I think the general perception is that we live off energy drinks and we wear hoodies 24/7 and speak fluent binary, and we like to sit in dimly lit rooms just hacking away at code the whole day. And I think for the most part that is true. But the misconception, I guess, comes in that we spend the whole day coding, where actually we just talk to other team members and stakeholders to untangle messy problems, rather than just writing epic lines of code. Okay, next question. So before you showed up, front-end and back-end were basically in a long-distance relationship. What was that like, and how did merging them change the game? Honestly, it was a bit more of an open relationship. You know, like the front end was doing its thing, the back end was doing its own thing, and sometimes they would communicate and talk to each other if they remembered. Merging the teams brought a lot more clarity and faster feedback cycles and fewer "why is this not working" meltdowns. By following the same planning and sprint cadences, it allowed us to work more efficiently as a team and together, and we really like the results that we're seeing so far. You introduced SCRUM and 3-week sprints. What's the biggest myth about agile development? And be real, how much did the developers hate you at first? Actually, I was pleasantly surprised at how receptive everyone was to this change. The biggest myth about agile is probably that it is just chaotic and with fancy charts. But actually it brings structure and a lot of flexibility. The developers actually enjoy working in more manageable chunks because it means that everyone can be a part of the decision making via the sprint plannings and the refinement session. And it also gives some semblance of progress as opposed to Kanban, where there's just a constant stream of new work flowing in all the time. What's one phrase that instantly kills your soul in a dev meeting? "It works on my machine" has to be up there. I don't know if I'm imagining this, but with the advent of cloud computing, I feel like I've been hearing this phrase a lot less. What usually grinds my gears these days is "we can't write unit tests for this," or "this should be a quick fix." You've been here a year, and what's your biggest "I actually changed something" moment? And what is one thing some people still don't get, no matter how many times you've said it? Probably when I heard from one of the developers that their workday is a lot more predictable and less chaotic. This was a silent note to the planning structure that I implemented, which I believe gives a lot more clarity about the upcoming work and what everyone is doing right now. It also fosters collaboration and adds variety to everyone's skill set. And the thing that people still don't get is probably also the planning, because it is something new that we've implemented. So I can see that it needs to become a habit for some people still. Carrier billing sounds cool until it doesn't work. What's the most frustrating part of keeping it running smoothly? The most challenging part is probably tied to how quickly technology changes. Our aggregators and our operators change their APIs at a moment's notice usually, if we even get a notice. So we have to ensure that our systems are easy to maintain, to monitor, and to troubleshoot. How do you deal with the classic "we need this live yesterday" without pushing something to production that immediately breaks? I usually respond to this with a deep breath and a polite smile. In truth, this is something that we're still working on improving. Our motto is to work fast, but to not skip on tests, reviews, and sanity checks. Speed is great, but uptime is better. These ones are long. My leg is dying now. We hear a lot about technical debt in mobile development. Can you break it down for us in simple terms? Why is it such a big deal, and how do we manage it effectively? Technical debt is like building a house but skipping on a few screws just to speed up time. It looks fine at first and everything works for the moment, but then eventually the walls start creaking and things stop working the way that they should. In development, this typically means taking shortcuts to speed up the development time, but that will slow you down in the future. Managing it means going back to reinforce the foundation before everything starts leaning like the Tower of Pisa. Mobile marketing trends come and go. With the rise of new platforms like TikTok and emerging ad models, how does your team stay ahead of the curve and ensure our system is future-proof for the next big marketing channel? We stay ahead of the curve by building flexible systems. If a new platform comes out, we want to just plug it in and not rebuild the whole house. It's all about staying curious and keeping your nose to the ground when it comes to the current technological trends. Tech forums and conferences are a great way to do that. What do they always say on a YouTube video? Subscribe. That's it. Thanks for watching.